We welcome you to the NovaCare Complex in South Philadelphia. Happy New Year's Eve, Eagles fans. I'm Insider Dave Spadaro along with Fran Duffy, our continuing and final coverage of the Eagles 2020 season. Coming to you from DraftKings, our friends there. We are inside in the practice bubble at the NovaCare Complex in South Philadelphia. Taking a peek, Fran, at the Eagles as they prepare for the season finale against the Washington football team. Dave Spadaro, Fran Duffy here. There's Doug Peterson. Fran, happy New Year's to you, and a disappointing day, of course, because we want the season to go on and on and on, but reality is reality, and the Eagles at 4-10-1 playing the role of spoilers on Sunday night.
Happy New Year to you, Dave. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Obviously, 2020 has not been ideal for a lot of different reasons, and just from a pure football standpoint, has certainly not gone the way that we had hoped, the way that we had expected. But here we are, and this is a team, as you said, hoping to play the role of spoiler here against a division rival in Washington. You talk about the no-hat rule that's Jim Schwartz instituted.
And there is absolutely, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is Brandon Brooks, whose practice window has been activated. Of course, he will not play in Sunday night's game, Fran. That is a trimmed down Brandon Brooks, but there he is running, coming back from that Achilles tendon injury. And look, as we project to 2021, Fran, and think about what has happened in 2020, it all kind of, there's a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it revolves around number 79. What a blow losing him this year, and what encouragement thinking about him and Lane Johnson returning in 2021.
I mean, what you miss from the right side of that offensive line without a healthy Lane Johnson, certainly without Brandon Brooks, it's huge, not just for the run game, but for the pass game as well, for whoever's at quarterback in 2021. Just a huge, huge lift for that offense moving forward.
Yeah, I can't get enough of Brandon Brooks. I love seeing him on the football field. And for Eagles fans, certainly a sight for sore eyes, Fran. And that domino effect of Brandon being injured, tearing his Achilles tendon in the spring, the impact it has had on the offensive line, not only at the right guard position, but all the way through the O-line. it can't overestimate just how much it meant.
Yeah, I mean, you had a guy that was, a huge part of the offense. So not only just the quality of player, but a rock-solid, reliable player that was always there. And so when you remove him from the equation and then you try and figure out how to replace him, you get another injury, and now that's when the domino effect starts. That's how you have 13 different offensive line starting combinations.
So in your mind, Fran, as we take a look at the Eagles, and we really don't even know who's going to play on Sunday night. We'll keep you updated here as to who we see on the practice field. If the Eagles come back with Lane Johnson healthy, Brandon Brooks healthy, Andre Dillard healthy, Jason Kelce plays, how much of a priority in your mind, as we're just talking here, is the offensive line in the draft, perhaps in free agency?
Well, I think if you come in and you understand that you have those guys coming back, think about the young guys that we've seen some really good things out of to be backup offensive linemen, because I think it's important for the fans listening to understand every team wants offensive linemen every single year. No team is going to survive the amount of injuries that the Eagles survived in the trenches alone this year. I mean, that is a really tough feat. Everybody's looking for offensive linemen. So think about the young guys that we've seen. We've seen Jordan Mailata. We've seen Jack Driscoll. You figure him to be part of the future plans. You look at Nate Herbig. Nate Herbig has proven that he can be a nice backup. Is he going to be an everyday starter? We'll see if he can develop into that. But you've seen a guy that can come in and give you suitable play as a backup option. And there are other young guys in the pipeline as well that have certainly gotten a lot of snaps this year. So I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. Thinking going into the offseason, how big of a priority does that need to be going into the draft and things like that?
Now, for me, and we're just kicking around ideas.
Sure.
That group right there, the defensive line, huge need. I mean, I'm with you. You get back Lane Johnson, still got a lot of great football in front of him. Brandon Brooks comes back. How much can you count on him with two injuries of significance recently here? Yeah, I mean, I look at defensive line, offensive line, and to me, getting the Eagles back to prominence in the NFL starts there. And I know that if the Eagles have a top 10 draft pick here, which I guess they will, whether it's 3, 4, 5, 6,
yep,
everybody's gonna, I need a wide receiver. This guy, well, hey, look, cornerback this year has been very tough, decimated by injuries.
Yep.
Defensive line, all three levels of the defense. The offensive line, for sure. Skill positions, hey, I got to see how Jalen Reagor develops. I want to see Travis Fulgham a full year in the offseason. I want to see Greg Ward. I want to see John Hightower. I want to see Quez Watkins. And there's Davion Taylor, whose practice window also activated. I would expect to see him on Sunday night.
I was going to say, unlike Brandon Brooks, he's a guy I think we could probably expect to see here on Sunday. Maybe we'll some extended action on defense.
Yeah, and the Eagles looking to find out about some of these young players. Every rep gives you more information. A raw prospect, a third-round pick, Davion Taylor, limited playing time in 2020. What do you think you have going into 2021 with him? This is part of the evaluation process that the Eagles will continue on Sunday night. Friendly, the attitude that we've gotten from the players and from head coach Doug Peterson this week and coordinator Jim Schwartz is got a football game to win on Sunday night. A lot of pride at stake here at Lincoln Financial Field. Don't want the Washington football team to celebrate the NFC East title in our house.
That's the, as I alluded to earlier, the no hat rule that Jim Schwartz talked about on Tuesday morning. You don't want them busting out those division-winning hats on the field at Lincoln Financial Field on Sunday night. So, this is a team. The players are all going out trying to get that win. The coaches are all going out there trying to get that win. And regardless of what fans may want, regardless of what anybody else may want, that their efforts are all going towards beating the Washington football team on Sunday.
This is our continuing coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles 2020 season presented by DraftKings. Welcome, everyone, and Happy New Year to Eagles fans around the world. Eagles insider Dave Spadaro along with Fran Duffy here at the NovaCare Complex. We, of course, are indoors on this Thursday. A warm Thursday weather forecast for Sunday night. Should be okay. Periods of rain, but relatively warm weather as the Eagles put a lid on this 2020 season, one that has not certainly been to the expectations of everyone here with the Philadelphia Eagles. But that is the reality. Eagles 4-10-1. Going into this game, role of spoilers is unfamiliar to Doug Peterson. He's been in the playoffs each of the last 3 seasons, but the Washington football team needs a win on Sunday night, and Ron Rivera in his first year would be the NFC East champion. The NFC East has not had repeat champions since the 2003-2004 Philadelphia Eagles, and that is one of the more remarkable streaks, Fran, right?
One of my favorite stats in sports.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's great. It's insane.
So whoever wins it, look at it. The Cowboys and Giants play earlier in the day. The winner of that game would benefit with an Eagles victory. Wouldn't that be interesting that Dallas Cowboys fans would be rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Right. Obviously, that'll be a game that everybody will be watching, from all three cities. But look, I'm interested to just look at some of the young players that we'll get one final look at. I would include Jalen Hurts in that group. We're going to see Jordan Mailata. Hopefully, we'll see, depending on his health situation. But I think when you look at a lot of these young players that we've seen extended looks at, Jalen Reagor, all these guys, I'm excited to just get another look at them here this weekend in the final game of 2020.
Yeah, Jordan Mailata, interesting case, Fran, in concussion protocol.
Right,
did not practice yesterday. We'll take a look if we can see him or not see him.
Yep.
But if he doesn't play, so what are your options? Well, maybe you go Matt Pryor at left tackle. He played there in preseason, in the training camp.
And he went in at left tackle after Mailata left the other night.
Oh, right, the other night, right. And then maybe Brett Toth?
Brett Toth was one of those who came in at right tackle. Yes. Or could one of the practice squad kids come up? Could one of the young guys, like a Prince Tega Wanogo, get followed up to see what he's got, a 6th-round pick out of Auburn this year?
Isn't
No
that
question.
A tough matchup?
Come in and play Chase Young, by the way. Good luck.
I didn't even realize that Chase Young made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
6.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, a return for a touchdown. And while the sack numbers may not be what you thought, he is still a dynamic player who's going to be a handful.
Yep.
Along with the rest of that front. A front that got to Carson Wentz 8 times back on September 13th. And we think about the bookend games against Washington, Fran, that the mistakes the Eagles made in game number 1 follow them throughout the remainder of this 4-10-1 season. And we'll see how Jalen Hurts reacts to the pressure from a very, very good defense.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of the things you just mentioned, the things that we saw in week 1, a lot of the issues that plagued this team just this past week in the loss against Dallas. I mean, you saw the turnovers, you saw the lack of protection, just the inability at times to be able to move the ball consistently, especially in the second half. Remember how well that game started against the Washington football team in week 1. The Eagles were able to get out to an early lead, but the second half, the offense sputtered and they were not able to reach the end zone, and a lot of the same issues were showed up this past week.
And that has been a theme in the 3 starts for Jalen Hurts. The Eagles have scored 54 points in the first half of those 3 games, only 13 points in the second half of those games. So we do not see Fletcher Cox on the field. We see Derek Barnett dressed but no helmet. And should the Eagles go into this game without those 2, as we saw after Cox left on Sunday, the defense really does struggle to maintain pressure at the line of scrimmage. There's the Eagles running back group, overseen by the great Deuce Staley. Kind of wanted to see a little Elijah Holyfield this season, Fran, just from a what does he have standpoint, but that did not happen. Jordan Howard playing on Sunday in a limited role for the Eagles. Miles Sanders, outside chance to get 1,000 yards. I believe he's 133 yards away.
Not out of the question.
Against a good run defense, but maybe one of those big runs.
That's it. Yep.
He's had 3 runs of 70 yards plus this season, and he met the media yesterday. He's actually my featured guest on this Eagles Insider podcast that dropped today. If you don't subscribe, go do it. Do it. We're going to be live, right? You and I are going to be still kicking it out throughout the offseason. So if you want Eagles coverage, and we know you do, make sure you subscribe to the Journey to the Draft podcast, which, Fran, that's going to be fascinating as we count down to Draft 2021. Certainly, Eye in the Sky podcast. Will you continue to do that?
I would be doing those twice a week. Both podcasts will be going twice a week, even going into the start of the offseason. So make sure that you are finding those podcasts wherever podcasts can be found. Talking Eagles, X's and O's, the NFL Draft, all offseason long.
Yeah, and I've got the Eagles Insider podcast as well as the Eagles Update, which has done very well, and we thank you all for your support. But we want you to be tuned in to the Philadelphia Eagles throughout this 2021 offseason as the Eagles look to rebound from this disappointing 2020 season. One of the bright spots on this team right there, Alex Singleton, who has taken the long road to the NFL, Canadian Football League, bounced around the league a bit and finds himself as a tackling machine here with the Eagles. And Fran, has he proven that he can be a starter at the NFL level, a quality starter?
I was just going to ask you the same question.
I waver on that.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think he would actually benefit from having more around him.
Sure.
But he's smart. He's a very sure tackler. Not the greatest athlete in the world, but he's athletic enough. Works hard, great enthusiasm. He's been durable.
Always around the football.
I give him the vote, yes.
Yeah, always around the football.
Always around the football.
Whether it's been, back to that first game, he had the pick six against San Francisco. You see tackles for loss. You see fumble recoveries, forced fumbles. I mean, that stuff doesn't happen by accident. You're around the football because, some guys just have a knack for it, and I feel like he's one of those guys. And, a guy that's very well spoken. He's got command of that room. You look at TJ Edwards, another guy that I think the Eagles are hoping for another step in the right direction for him as well. I thought we saw some good things from him in his second year. So a couple of undrafted free agents that I think have done some nice things. I'm excited to see what that group looks like in 2021.
Yeah, and for TJ, it starts with health. Got to stay healthy.
No question. Yep.
It really, for all of, the number of injuries that this football team has incurred yet again in 2020, just remarkable. And not an excuse, but the reality. And that'll do it for today's coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles 2020 practice presented by DraftKings. Thanks to all of you for your support throughout the season. Make sure you are with us on Sunday night as the Eagles finish it out against the Washington football team. Our kickoff show presented by Exalta begins at 7:30. Make sure you're with us. In the meantime, everybody, healthy, happy New Year. 2021 will be better than 2020. Eagles insider Dave Spadaro along with Fran Duffy saying thanks, everyone. Have yourselves a great Eagles day. And as always, fly, Eagles, fly.